Today's episode is part 1 of this installment of Unpacked.
A bad company corrupts a good character.
He was convicted for an armed robbery case.
I was singing because I wasn't married.
What attracted me to him the most, maybe the honesty.
You're still the same guy that I've been speaking to. You are in a prison.
Love can be found in the most uncommon of places. We have 3 guests today who have found love where you might not really expect it. Let's unpack. Sidi Mokoe is a lyricist, ghostwriter, and self-published author of a book titled Prison Love. Sidi was born and raised by both her parents in Katlehong, together with her younger brother. She got married when she was 23 years old in 2005, then separated from her husband in 2008. Lerato Moche, a mother of 2, was born in the Free State. In 2002, Lerato moved to Johannesburg, leaving her family behind to pursue her dreams in the big city, and has since made Johannesburg her second home. Elijah Sikhosana was born in KwaNdebele. At the age of 12, Elijah was sent to Katlehong in Gauteng to stay with his aunt and her husband. Elijah had endured the physical abuse from his stepfather and trauma from watching his mother go through the same abuse. After moving to Katlehong, Elijah found his life changing in ways he could never imagine. These are their stories. Let's unpack. Elijah, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us on Unpacked.
I thank you, ma'am.
Relebogile. Oh, Sidi.
I'm Swag.
How are you?
I'm good, and you?
Hey, energy, how already?
You ready?
Yeah.
I was born ready to go hard.
Good. Thank you for joining us. And then also joining us on VideoCon, we have Lerato. Lerato, how are you doing?
I'm good, thanks, and you?
I am good. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, so today, all 3 of you found love in prison, right?
Yes.
Now, of the 3 of you, just so everybody at home can know, 1 is a prisoner, 2 are the lovers. So let's start with your story. Elijah, what's your story and how did you find yourself to be here?
A bad company corrupts a good character. When we grow up as amachita elokishini, nasikhula sikhethe indlela ehlukile. But we are still friends. But each and every individual une-journey yakhe. But at the end of the day, we will come together and share with me. And then some they will boast ngezinto abazenzayo. And some they will choose a wrong direction, which is crime. But they are still our friends. And then they will go out and do their own things. And then when they do their own things outside there, they will come to us, and their things they will come and hit us as well. Because sihlala sonke ekhoneni. And then Elijah as kulo muntu lona bekadumile ngamakhwaya. At the same time, Elijah began to start laphana ekhoneni athengisa amazimba chips namasweet. So when these guys do their things, bazothi abo Elijah. So now,
So guilty by association.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now when the cops come, they want Elijah. Who is this Elijah? And then bazomthola Elijah. And then when they found Elijah, bapha abangani bakho. I've got many friends. Which ones? Uyabaza abangani bakho, niyazi ukuthi nenzeni nina izolo. Siyenzeni izolo? Nibamba inkunza ngethe Waiteville. Inkunza Waiteville mina. Yes, ubamba inkunza Waiteville nabangani bakho nina. Neze nabulala nabantu. I said no. It's not me. So bahamba bafuna bonke abangani bami. Babathola. But amongst them, I don't know who is who la. Because most of them are criminals.
And you weren't there.
I was in there.
Yeah.
So I don't know good things, what hilo or hilo. So I need to shut my mouth and then we are the ones who did this. But now, because I was supposed to go through what I went through, so they took us to police station. And then after police station, they just torture us and torture us and torture us and torture us. And then they said, Kusasa, nizolikhuluma iqiniso nina. So the following
What do you mean by torture us?
Bashaya kakhulu.
Yo.
Yeah, bashaya. So they came in the morning and said, Elijah, come here. we need someone in your location. So can you go with us and show us that guy? I said, yes, I can go with you. And then along the way, I said, no, I stay there because bengasahlala ekhaya ngaleso sikhathi. Bengiqhashile ngisaid now umkhukhu wami ngihlala laphayana kulo mkhukhu. But no, let's go there. We need guns. Nifuna ibhamu manje madoda. Anisafuni lo muntu enimfuna, but yes, we need guns. Okay, we go there. And then after that, my girlfriend was there with her friends. I said, Spiwe ngicela niphume labantu ba-check ibhamu abayifunayo. Bangikhafile by that time. And then I was with bengimanzi kakhulu. So when they are busy searching the guns, they don't find anything. And I said to them, you know what, guys? May you please uncuff me. The other one said, no, uncuff lo mfana, man. Athi ngimanzi ngifuna ukukhumula le mpahla ngishintshe. But okay, it's okay, mfana kithi bangichache ngendlela right. So now this one, sekanaka amantombazana ngaphandle, sekafuna ukushayela manje. Lo oyi-one, sekabheka izinto zakhe la endlini. So mina nangikhumula, ngicabanga ukubaleka ukuthi, you know what? These people kungcono bangibulale kunokuthi bayongenza lento abangenza yona izolo. So ngigcoke ngithena ngithola imbobo nje ngibaleke. And then they try to shoot me. Ibulata zangele ngithole. And then ngabaleka ngeze ngafika eDavid one kasisi wami. Ngahlala for 6 months kasisi wami.
So basically you were on the run, but you didn't do anything.
I didn't do anything.
Out of fear.
Yes, because the only thing that I was, the only thing that I wanted, which it's better for them to kill me, because I can't live like this. So now when I ran with Siswami, so they go to my girlfriend and said, you know what, we'll give you 20,000 if you can bring back Elijah. We will give you 20,000. So the girlfriend they are charged ballet.
So now I'm just trying to understand then. Your girlfriend ratted you out? What were the charges that you went to jail for?
Robbery and murder.
And you were found guilty in court?
Yes, I found guilty on court.
But how did the evidence not clear you?
You know, at court they will ask you questions. If you fail to answer those questions, it simply tells you know. So the only thing they will ask you, this time Bogu Pinot, Tina, we don't check my wash weight when we go. I will say, no, 9 when I'm sent when it is at Tiwano, you are not there. And then Babu's at the very same question, but in different ways. And then
try
now
and catch you out.
You understand? And then now it's open to Langan. But no, but now you said this. No. When are you know? So you will tell us the truth. So that's how I got sentenced at the end of the day.
And how many years was the
35
sentence?
years.
35 years. Wow.
35 years.
All right, we're going to come back to you. Siswam, on your side, now we know you were not a prisoner, but you found love in prison.
Yes.
Tell me about the prisoner that you found love with. What was their sentence and what was their crime?
He was sentenced for 17 years, but he was serving 8.5 years of the sentence. So it's half of the 17. He was convicted for an armed robbery case.
And was he guilty?
Yes.
He had admitted guilt.
I'm not sure about that, but he was sentenced for armed robbery.
And no one got hurt in the process?
No one got hurt. They didn't kill anyone, so there was no murder or any injuries. It was just purely armed robbery.
How did he get caught?
Unfortunately, I can't reveal that.
Yes.
No, I can't, because it's not my story.
Yes, and that's fair.
Yes,
that's
his
fair.
story.
That's fair. Lerato, on your side as well, the person you found love with, what were they guilty of?
Murder.
And who did they murder?
They call it a crime of passion.
So they murdered their partner.
And they were sentenced for 2 lives.
So they were sentenced 2 life sentences.
Yeah.
And the person that they murdered, was it a girlfriend? Was it a partner? Was it a lover? Was it a wife?
It was a lover and a best friend. He found out that the 2 were cheating.
Oh, the lover and the best friend were cheating with each other.
Yeah. Well, best friend, red.
Yo. So, did he kill both of them?
Yes.
How was he found guilty, or how was he caught?
It was in the media. He handed himself over.
And I think it's interesting, all three completely different stories, but the most consistent part of all your stories is that they do lead to love.
Yeah.
So I would like to find out then from your side, I mean, you were in prison, Elijah.
Yes.
You got your sentence. You already stick to your word that you were not guilty of anything. What was your relationship status at the time? I mean, did you end up forgiving your girlfriend, or her ratting you out was it?
No, I did forgive her. I forgave her, but even though we never met.
What do you mean you never met? As in,
after, yes.
Yeah.
After I got my liberty back. So I never went to her and sit down with her and ask her, what went wrong? And you know very well, Guti. I mean, I wasn't part of what. But abengasi patalent bebatingi. So now when wabanis bin the one thing is poison. Yeah.
So you went into jail only single?
Yeah, let me put it like this. Yes, I was singing because I wasn't married.
Was there a woman out there who believed you were in a relationship?
Yes, it's the one who handed me over to police.
Okay.
To police, yes.
So when you went into prison, because she handed you over,
Yes.
when did the relationship end?
Same day.
Same day. All right. So when you're in prison, you were single. You were not attached to anybody.
Yes.
Okay. So now, was there any thought in your mind, Hore, you might find love there? Or you're just focusing on, let me get through this?
Yeah, indaba zothando bokuyizinto zokugcina. So bengihlanga by that time because I said to myself, what went wrong? Out of all these people, they come to me and said, Elijah, we did this. But there was being the hoping and which, you know what, because I didn't do this, I will get my liberty back. But when I go out, I will make sure I will kill them. Because now, but I've killed somebody and then bad food I've robbed a bunch. So I'm going to do exactly that.
So who are you going to kill when you get out of jail?
Number one, I'm a poisa. Number
the
one.
ones that you feel framed.
Yes, I'm a poisa. Things over bulala. And even now, your girlfriend, I'm there. They sinking in. If not released by that time.
And that's where your mind was at?
Yes, my focus was there.
Yes. Sure. Oh, Sidi, so when just before Okopana le motho wa hao, where were you in life at this time?
Now I was married. Okay. So I was with my then husband for 10 years. We were married for 6 years. That includes, traditional marriage, I get. And he was very abusive, emotionally, physically, and financially. And by financially, I mean I was the one who was bringing the bacon. And he was lazy. He was, all talk, no action. We understand. And that is the thing about financial abuse. It also delays one's progress because a woman's role in a relationship should be that of a helper, not a provider. That is a man's role. So because of that, he ended up having a low self-concept and started abusing me emotionally. He felt like he was not good enough, that I was meeting guys who were better than him, which led to the physical abuse. So I left him on the night he almost killed me in the presence of our daughter who was turning 7 at the time.
What did you do?
He hit me. He was banging my body against the wall, my head. He literally grabbed my hair and just threw me against the wall. I was so numb. And, the funny thing is I attended self-defense classes, I think, twice or thrice. But when I found myself in that moment, I forgot everything. I couldn't defend myself. I was so numb. I couldn't even feel the pain when he was hitting me. That's how bad it was. My whole body just switched off completely. I couldn't even cry, I just remember screaming for my daughter because I wanted to try to break loose and get out of the house, but I couldn't leave without my daughter, who was in the other room. So I had to scream for her so that she can wake up. At least, and I thought maybe when he sees...
that he will stop.
He will stop. Unfortunately, he didn't stop immediately, but eventually he did. Then that is how I managed to to run.
Did he stop because your daughter was there, or he stopped because some other reason?
I think he stopped because of her. Yeah, but it was not immediate. But yeah, he did stop because of her. Thank you.
So that was, I'm done.
That was it. For me, that was it. And I did it for her as well. I did it for my daughter more than for me, because we model behavior to our kids. You know, had I stayed in that relationship, what message was I sending across? Yeah, you know, I was saying, look, it's okay to stay in an abusive relationship because you share a child, you have a history, you are married. You know, but I said, no, I'm not going to send that message, not to my daughter. I'm leaving this man. And I left that night. I left my clothes. I left everything behind. I left things that I worked very hard for. You know, I only went back for my clothes because my mom told me that, you know what, you're not going to start a new wardrobe. You need to go back for your clothes. But I had to go to the police station so that they could escort me to the house.
Go and get your
to
things.
go and get my stuff. Yeah.
So then that was it. You were divorced, you were single.
Not divorced yet.
Just separated.
Just separated. And that's the thing. I was afraid to divorce him immediately because he was making death threats. So I thought he was going to kill me. So I didn't know what was right, whether to divorce him or to prolong it, you know. And I also did it for my little girl because, you know, she loved her father, and she had just witnessed him abusing me. So I didn't want to rush, you know, getting divorced. And because now we had to relocate, we had to move in with my parents. So, you know, those changes were just going to be too much for a little girl. Then I decided that I needed to relocate. Excuse me. I needed to relocate, but not too far from my parents. So fortunately, there was a friend of mine who was also job hunting. So he knew that I wanted to relocate to Pretoria. So he had an interview scheduled in Centurion. So, and then after the interview, he called me and said, you know what, Sidi, his name is Kagiso. You know, as one of, what he did for me, I will never forget. I will be eternally indebted to him for what he did for me. He called me and said, Sidi, he calls me Tsidax. Tsidax, I went for this interview and I think you will be more suitable for this role.
Wow.
We worked together in a conference and training industry as sales executives. So it was a sales role, but for an ICT company. So he says, I went there and I sold you to the people who were interviewing me. I told them about you. I told them that, you know what, should you need more people, there's a friend of mine who is more competent than me.
That's amazing.
Yes, she'll actually be more suitable for this job. So should you need more people, please contact her. Here is Sidi's number. He did that on purpose. And then he says, you know what, I know those people are going to phone me. When they do, they won't find me. I'm going to make sure this whole week I switch off my phone because I need to start, I think it was the 4th of August. So I'll make sure I switch off my phone. And when I do that, I know they'll phone you, looking for me.
Wow.
Yes. Because, you know, and that's what they did. They phoned me looking for him for about 3 days. They couldn't find him. Then they said, you know what, Kagiso told us about you. Maybe you should send us your CV since we can't get hold of him. We need to fill this. We need to fill this post. And I did that. I went for an interview, and the rest is history. I found myself working for that company. So while I was working there, it was an open plan office. So,
but by this time, before we get into the how we all met, the loved ones, by this time you are separated.
I'm separated from. It's been a month.
Yes,
from
your husband.
From my husband, right? So I'm working in Centurion. I'm traveling from Vosloorus to Centurion. I used to stay in Vosloorus.
Yes.
So, but now I needed to find a place to stay for the following year.
Yes.
You know, because I was looking for a school for my daughter. We needed to relocate. Okay, so it was around August, the time. So I was working with this lady who, she was my supervisor. And whenever she was not at her desk, I would answer her calls from my desk, you know, because it's an open plan office. So one day I receive a call, and the guy on the other side of the line introduces himself as my colleague's brother.
Ooh, I know where this is going. We're coming back.
Okay.
Pause that story. We're coming back. Lerato, where did you find yourself relationship status-wise before meeting the person that you called your lover?
Let me say that I had given up on relationships because I was tired of men lying and making up stories and stuff. I was not in a relationship when I met my prison lover. And a friend and colleague recommended the dating site where I met my prison lover.
And I think that's what we need to get to, because everybody at home is thinking, where did you meet this person? So, Lerato, then let's start with you. How did you meet your prison lover?
This dating site, Baraki 2. It's spelled TWOOO. 2. And then I registered my profile. I'll get messages from guys and but then I was not making so much interested in it. So this one time I decided, making a board of seeing, and I decided to go in, and I received a message from my prison lover. And it caught my attention. He is very good with words. Chama. This is not now before I even knew for Upokai, Biang, etc. But the message that was left on my profile wanted me to, find out who this person was, and it created my attention.
Were there photos up at this point, or was it those, just a shape of a person, but there's no one there?
You have to attach a photo. So
Okay.
they keep posting a picture of myself in a blue dress. And he called it the Blue Lagoon. He loved how my behind looked in
your
the
blue
Lagoon.
behind.
Oh my word.
So, that's basically how we met.
But what was his picture? And what was his picture?
Actually, now they don't always wear orange.
Yes.
Moche. They have their own private clothes. So he had taken a picture, the private clothes. So and against the background to the wall, maybe to tell. So you wouldn't tell for a J. That's the picture that he had posted on his profile.
So in essence, you met this person online, and then you were not aware at the time that this person is in prison.
No, not at all. I wasn't.
Okay. Oh, Sidi, let's go to you. So now somebody is phoning the office.
Yes.
And then what happens?
Yeah, and then I pick up again. And he's looking for my colleague who's not at the desk. So I take a message. And then he picked up that I didn't speak the language spoken in Pretoria, Spitori. He was Jozi. Okay, Mogele was Jozi. Kimang. I tell him, get Sidi, I'm from Phosphorus. I'm planning to relocate to Pretoria. I've only been here for a few days. And I'm looking for a place to stay. Then he offered to help me find a place. He explained that he used to be in the business of selling property. So he'll help me find a place. And I was grateful, because I didn't know where to begin, I do have family in Pretoria, but, I was grateful that there's this good Samaritan who's offering to assist me. He then said, from now on, then I will phone you directly on your direct line instead of via my sister's line. And he did that. He phoned me almost every day almost, around 10 o'clock, 5%. And we had like 5-10 minutes conversations every day. And, I would look forward to these conversations. Remember, I'm coming from a very bad marriage. I'm broken, I'm wounded, But at the time, I didn't think I was wounded. I thought I was, I was a survivor. I managed to walk out of that bad marriage and everything. But this guy is still my breath of fresh air,
Did you know when you guys were talking at the time that he was in prison?
No, I
So
had
you
no
never
idea.
said, what do you do for a living? And he said, I serve time.
No, because now remember it was 5 minutes, and most of the time he's asking about me. He's more interested. And then Lina, I needed someone auto feel good because I get it, And how are you? How did you sleep? What did you eat? No one had ever asked me that, other than my parents, What did you sleep? How's your daughter doing? Kanako, he knows that I have a daughter. And eventually he ended up knowing who I left my abusive husband and planning to get divorced. And he would say, as much as I don't believe in children being raised by only their mothers, it should never... I believe that every child deserves to be raised by both parents, but it should never be in a toxic environment. And I was like, oh, okay, this guy is something else, And we spoke for 8 weeks. Every single day for 8 weeks. He never asked for my cell phone number. And he never told me that he loves me or anything like that. It was just pure friendship and him assisting me to find a place to stay, him being interested in me, how I'm doing, just that. And 8 weeks later, I was like curious to know who is this person that I've been speaking to. Then, Bekir, we've been speaking for a while now, and you know so much about me, but now I know very little about you. In fact, when will you be coming to the office to pay us a visit so that I can get to meet this wonderful guy that I've been speaking to, this intelligent man, because he was so intelligent, polite, considerate, loving, and caring guy that I've been speaking to for all these weeks. And he took a deep breath. I was like a very deep breath, and said, I won't be able to because I'm in prison.
Did the sister know this whole time that you guys are speaking every day?
Not really.
So she might have tipped you if she knew. Nasatsebe.
But now I was a bit suspicious. But prison was the last thing on my mind. But I knew something fishy was going on, because whenever she had missed the calls, she would be so frustrated. And I would always say, no, but
he can phone back.
Phone him back, return the call. And I would watch her the whole day. She would never return the call. So one day I phoned this number, because he used to phone from the same landline number every day. So I phoned the number, and it gave an engaged tone the whole day. And in that, naturally, I overanalyzed things. So I was sitting there going, no, but this guy ofonaka the same number every day, same time, kaboma 10-ish. And then the sister, hahonu return the call. So what's up? So I used to watch a lot of movies at the time, and a thought crossed my mind, what if this guy got some witness protection or something? But then immediately I laughed at myself. Come on, Sidi, you know what? There's no such thing. This is South Africa. So I laughed at myself when the thought crossed my mind. So when he said he's in prison, I found that missing piece of the puzzle. And then I immediately said, oh, okay, so if you are in prison, it means I'll have to come and visit you.
So that just came out your mouth. You didn't think,
nix. And Liana, he was shocked. I mean, for real. So you're not going to judge me. No, but I get it. You've been so kind to me for all these weeks. So why should your location change the way you go? You're still the same guy that I've been speaking to. You are in a prison. And I had never been to prison. At the time, I didn't know anyone who's been incarcerated. But I'm a curious person, naturally, in Nache. So, and then fortunately, that weekend, the sister was going to visit him. So he then now started telling the sister, hey, I've been speaking to Sidi for some time now, and I wanted to come and visit me. I told her that I'm in prison. So he arranged with the sister.
Sure. I'm going to come back to you very quickly, Lerato. When did you find out that your person that you now are talking to,
I think 2 days later, because I replied to the message left on my profile. And then the thing is, he could only communicate with me at certain times throughout the day. So I would get a message. I received a message around just before 2, and he was not online. And then 2 days later, that's when he asked for my landline, my work landline, so that he can call and so we can, have a telephone conversation as opposed to typing or chatting via the app. He did call, and that's when he wanted to be upfront for Ugo JV and why I go JV and how long he's been go JV. So I was that alone in more curious, making a shock for it. How does he have access to internet, the computer and stuff like that? So I can meet up a mafia boss because only people in gangs who are gang leaders might have the resources in prison. I didn't think anybody ordinary would have such. So I wanted to, are you some gang boss? How do you have access to phone and computer, internet? How are you able to even communicate with the outside world like this? And then that's when he explained was study and a lot of the courses are online. So we have permission to use internet, and he also signed up more too. And yeah.
Oh, and I think what's interesting, you say that, let me say what I observe is that it was exciting for you, it was intriguing.
Fascinating. I was fascinated for you. What? All the way from prison? How do you, how? There were too many questions. I was very curious. I wanted to know more for prison. Listen, I, like Sidi said, knew nobody from Olengo Tronko, none of my family or friends. I cannot prison experience ever. This was first. And then out of nowhere, people say, "Move to Olengo Tronko." And then come on, I did phone the internet, skip over my what? And that's when he started whole batakwiti more. What did you do? How? Where's as a person? But I think what attracted me to him the most, maybe the honesty. He was very upfront. He never nasa fiti anything. Every question I asked about what had happened, what seemed to be there, and his sentencing, etc. He was very open about it, and that it ticked a lot of boxes for me.
So him saying I went to jail for taking the life of my partner and best friend did not scare you off?
Not really, because I'm also, I'd say, open-minded. That we might be gamontle and not behind bars, but most of us are in prison. And I looked at it that way, he's human. We really mistake who committed what he did. driven by anger or whatever was going through his mind. The way we react when something happens, I didn't hold it against him.
And I think you said something very deep there by saying, you know, we might be outside walking free, but many of us are in prison. Next time on Unpacked.
When he went to prison, he learned to survive.
We are made to be loved.
Why would you choose a harder road when love in itself is already difficult?
I was his queen. He was my king.
Unpacked with Relebogile Mabotja. New episodes weekdays at 5:30 p.m. on my YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe. Television edited broadcasts weekdays at 5 p.m. Open up to S3.